Oh my God, guys. Welcome to this fourth episode of the Scared of Sugar podcast. Let me take my headphones off so I'm not like going crazy. Hold on. Oh, guys, how's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling? Um, I look very autumnal today. I've got these very cute jeans on. Cute jeans. No, you're cute jeans. Thanks. No, you're cute jeans. And these like these little cowboy boots that I thrifted, and they have a little bit of like, I don't know if that's like snake or lizard skin at the front. They're very vintage though, but it's very cute. I think it's a cute little moment. Have you got going on? The hair is a bit crazy. I need to get a haircut, but don't mind her. Since the last podcast, though, I did do my eyebrows, so they look a bit better. Guys, today is gonna be Scared of My Housemates Part 2. It's gonna be the juicier version because this is a lot of stuff that I'm gonna talk about today that, you know, I feel like I might get in some trouble for. Like, maybe I'll get some messages from people being like, "I can't believe you fucking like spoke about me on your podcast." Maybe not actually. Let's see. Let's see what they say. But anyway, just so you guys can see, here are the receipts. Everything's printed the fuck out cuz like I came with receipts. Receipts, timelines, fucking everything. Okay, everything's on lock. Everything's going to be for real. But first, let me start off with my weekly update. Guys, on the topic of housemates, house, neighbors, London, guys, we had a kind of an interesting interaction with our neighbors recently. We were hosting a little like house party get together, and like the night before, no, like a couple days before this housewarming, not housewarming, this house party, we like we got new neighbors, and the flat above us is like a spare rooms flat, so there's quite a high turnover. But anyway, for some reason this is like a 5 bedroom house as well, so there's a lot of people. And for some reason all these new people moved in, and they were all men, like middle-aged men, like around like 25, similar age, but all men. So 5 new men just moved in above us, and we met them because we were on pretty good terms with our previous neighbors. We gave them our number. We're like, if there's ever any problems, like please don't hesitate to reach out. Da 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 da. You know, very like warm, very friendly, very neighborly. Okay, very neighborly. And so we said to these people, we met them, and they were like, oh, we heard you guys were having a little gathering. This is not the house party that I'm talking about, by the way. This is like a previous gathering. They're like, oh, we heard you were having a little gathering. And we were like, oh, so sorry about the noise. They were like, oh, really, no worries at all. Like, it's totally fine. Like, we're going to make noise too, so please don't worry about it. We were like, oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. And so we're like, oh, they're lovely. Like, they're so sweet. Anyway, our house party comes around, and the night before they were having a massive rager, like up until 2 a.m. Like I was almost like I thought I was having an earthquake. Like I was almost like vibrated out of my bed. But that didn't happen in the end. I was fine. I just fell asleep. But they were like so loud. But obviously we didn't say anything. We were like, oh, it's fine. You know, if they can make that much noise, it's a bit shit. But that means that we can make that much noise one time. And so we're like, okay, that's fine. So the housewarming, so why do I keep saying housewarming? The house party rolls around the next day, and we're having a party, like it's vibes, music's on, not crazy loud. It's like 10 p.m. All of a sudden, I literally thought we were being raided by the fucking police because one of these guys banged on our front door like so loud, like so fucking loud, like boom, 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 boom. And I was obviously on the balcony, not present. And he was like screaming, like, and I heard it from the balcony. He was like, you guys need to turn it the fuck down. Da, 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 da. And my initial reaction was fear. So I didn't go up to the door. I didn't go up to the man. And one of our guests just like opened and answered and was like, yeah, we'll keep it down. We'll keep it down. We'll keep it down. And so we turned the music down a little bit. And like, we're just like still having a good time. Mind you, it's still like 10 p.m. So we're legally still allowed to be making noise. Like in Hammersmith and Fulham, you can keep making noise. I think it's until like before 11 p.m. So I was like, okay, well, whatever. We can just keep vibing out. And then we start hearing like banging from like our ceiling. So they were like banging on the floor. Like it was ludicrous. I was starting to get so fucking upset because I was like, you're fully intimidating us. Like there's like five big straight men that live above us. They know this is the house for the girls and the gays. So why are you banging everywhere instead of coming down and having a respectable conversation with us? Like we have shown you nothing but kindness and respect. We are lovely and very reasonable people. If you would tell us to turn it down, we'll turn it down. But you don't need to bang on our doors. You don't need to bang on our ceiling. You can ask for our phone number and send us a nice message. This is not how you communicate, especially not with the gals and the gays. You have to understand that this is not going to be received very well. Like, I was scared. Like, Barbara, Queeve, and I, we were like, this is really fucking uncomfortable and makes me feel really, like, not safe. Why are you banging on our door? And why are you banging on our ceilings? No matter the issue. There are so many ways to communicate with us that is so much kinder, and it's just like unnecessary to be that aggressive. Okay, so if you are a straight man listening to this, just know who you're dealing with and how that can be received, because it was quite fear inducing. It was not a very nice experience. So anyway, roll the intro. Welcome to this episode of the Scared of Sugar podcast, guys. Housemates Part 2. Part 2. Now, this is the real juicy one. Let me tell you, this is the big, juicy one. So, I'm going to kind of start off where we left off in the last episode. If you haven't listened to the last episode, guys, you need to listen to it. I kind of set it up for this episode and you need to listen to it. So basically, I was speaking about my first flat share in London, which was in my student accommodation in Kingston. It was a bit crazy. Basically, I remember this one time my sister came to visit me from Singapore. She flew just to visit me in London. It was so cute. We had the most amazing time. And one day we were planning to go to Brighton. So we had this whole day plan. It was so cute. And at that point, we were still quite friendly with the housemates. And I was still very friendly, especially with that girl who tried to throw the fire extinguisher at my head. I was very friendly with her. I forgot what alias I gave her in the last episode, but just, that girl. Anyway, whatever. So we booked this day to go to Brighton, and we got a very, very early train. And for some reason, Celine brought back from Singapore, which is the most crazy thing, she brought back chocolate sprinkles, these Dutch chocolate sprinkles, which you can buy in Singapore. And I was really craving them. I was like, bring some chocolate sprinkles, bring some chocolate sprinkles. So she brought the chocolate sprinkles. And in the morning we were having chocolate sprinkles, but we were obviously late. As per usual, my family, everyone's always late. Everyone's on, island time, Singapore island time. We were not ready to go. And so we were rushing, and I made myself a bread with chocolate sprinkles, and I left the plate out with the chocolate sprinkles on the plate. So I'm in Brighton enjoying my day, having a lovely day, just enjoying my sister's company. We're going to vintage shops, so much fun. All of a sudden, I receive such an aggressive message from this girl being like, how fucking dare you leave chocolate sprinkles out on this plate? This is disgusting. This is vile. I can't believe you've done this. Da 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 da. And I literally, my heart sank, almost fell out of my colon, because I was like, oh my God, and at that point in my life, I was much more of a pushover, much more of a doormat. I hated confrontation. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. I've really upset her. I feel so bad. I feel really, really terrible. And my whole day was ruined. I felt so bad. And I wrote her a really lovely message back. I'm so sorry. I completely ran out of time this morning. Really, please, forgive me. I was so apologetic, so sincerely apologetic. And I felt horrible. And now when I look back at the situation, I'm yeah, probably shouldn't have left that play out, but like I'm human, like I was rushing. Like sometimes gets in the way of cleanliness, and that's what we were talking about in the previous episode. And so like her aggressive message with the picture as well was so unwarranted, and like I would have never communicated with someone like that. It was genuinely quite abusive to what the situation actually was, which was I left to play out with some chocolate sprinkles on it. Like, and it was chocolate sprinkles. It wasn't even like I left to play out with like rotting meat or something. Like it was fucking chocolate sprinkles. Anyway, and that really kind of like it really put things into perspective for me, and it was quite traumatic because things like that kept reoccurring. Like I kept getting pictures in the group chat, and like I realized also like as time went on that's like apparently quite an acceptable mode of communication in house shares, and I really don't think it is. Like knock on my fucking door, say, hey Max, like you've left something out. Or like if I was irritated by someone, I'd go like, hey, like, sorry, do you mind just cleaning this up? Or like, should we do a kitchen clean together? Like, isn't that a so much more, like, isn't that a so much nicer way to communicate, in a much more like homely way to communicate? Like I was super far away from home at that moment. Like I really sought that kind of like kind environment. And that was in my eyes not a justified response to send passive aggressive photos into a group chat. Like maybe you can get to that point after the 15th time of trying to communicate how you want something to be cleaned up, maybe, but like this is so unwarranted for a first or second time approach, bitch. Like relax. Okay, like it's just not necessary. Why are you harboring all this negative energy towards me? I've literally done nothing to you, except instead, actually, I've always just been very kind to you. So you need to relax. I really cannot stand it. Anyway, that was dealt with. Obviously, like we fell out because she tried to throw a fire extinguisher at my head, and then time went on, and like she was crazy. So I was like, good night. Anyway, clearly, like I've done nothing wrong. Like you are just an asshole, and you want to be an asshole. And if you want to be an asshole, babes, like fucking revel in it. Like be it. Be an asshole. Like love that for you. I just don't want to be part of it, and I'll see you never. Mate. And then obviously I went back for COVID. I spoke about the last episode, and then I came back. I moved into that nice house. No, sorry, I lie. I then moved into a second student accom in Fulham. Then I went back for COVID, and then I moved back into house in Shepherd's Bush. Like during COVID, it was still on and off lockdown, but that was like such an amazing experience. Like we all met each other on spare rooms. I was literally like, in Malaysia, just like looking for a new house, moved back to London, found Una on spare rooms, and she put us in contact with Raka, and then we were on Zoom for like months trying to find everyone to join us in this house share, and we ended up finding 5 people. Like we were the 5 of us. We found a really beautiful house in Shepherd's Bush, which we lived in for a year and a half, and it was an amazing experience. It was gorgeous. Like we all, like sure there were like quarrels about cleanliness, but it was always like from such a place of love, and like we all just really got on. So that was a really, really special time, and I'm really, really grateful for that experience. And to this day, like these people are some of my best friends. I love them so much. So yeah. That was really fun, and that actually set the bar really high for me. I felt like that was my home. I felt like it was so loving, and we all took care of each other. We took care of ourselves. We respected the space, and if there was anything ever that had to be discussed, it was always from such a place of love and kindness, which is how like I think any normal person wants to live their life. So yeah, and then that house share ended because the house got sold by the owner. And we had to find a new place. I was sofa surfing for 3 months in London, like staying at a friend's house. That was not funny. And like every other person I've encountered who's been through that and like had to sofa surf for an extended period of time, you know the deal. You know it's not fun. It really is not fun. Like you like I had to put all my shit in storage. I had like 3 clothes on rotation. It really felt horrible. But at the same time, I was super lucky to be able to sofa surf, and not that I didn't have to go back home and restart. So I'm really grateful for that, at least. But yeah, and then I found a 5 bed house in Fulham, and I was like, okay, cute. Like this could be, a new start. And I have to preface that at that time I was uber desperate to find a place and and to find people. I can't do this anymore. I need to move in. Like I need my stuff back. Like I feel like my life is just so chaotic without having a proper, room or base or home, especially because my parents will, live on the other side of the world. So I was like, I need to have a home. I need a little water break. Sorry, wine glass with water yet again. Guys. And so I found this place. I was like finding people in spare rooms, and I was having FaceTime like interviews with these people. And we managed to put a pretty cute house together, or so I fucking thought. Yeah, that was hell. That was, to this day, my worst house share experience ever. Like, it was horrible. It got to points where, like, we just didn't speak to each other. And, like, I spoke about in the last episode, like, how I'm quite, like, a harmonious person. Like, I love, I just want everything. I want everyone to get along. I want everyone to be happy and chill. I don't like the conflict. I don't like the hostility. And this house became the antithesis of like the things that I want in life, and it was just horrible. Everyone was like my housemates at the time were just so passive aggressive, and like I couldn't handle it anymore. Like it started off with the passive aggressiveness of like sending the photos in of this and that, and like from my initial, like in my first house share, like when people send photos into group chat and write a passive aggressive message, like it's such a like I get so triggered. Like I really feel so attacked, and even if it has something to do about me, but just the method of communication I find so unwarranted. I'm like, you know, I'm like, if I was living at home with my parents, like no one's gonna send me a fucking picture and tell me to clean it up. They just come to my room and tell me to clean it up, and maybe that was my fault. Maybe I put too much expectation on the people that I lived with. But like I said previously, my house share in Shepherd's Bush, like we treated each other like family. So I kind of expected that from people that I lived with in the future, that like, okay, we'll treat each other with respect and kindness. And if there is a problem, we'll just speak to each other and not send passive aggressive messages on the group chat. And that is what happened. And yeah, I started to really realize that, okay, if I want to like stop being triggered by this, I'm gonna have to stand up for myself and let them know that this is not how I appreciate being spoken to, and I expect a lot more respect. And I did that. Like I was like, guys, like if there's a problem, please come to my room. Do not message shit like this to me in a group chat or to anyone. Like if it's not even got anything to do with me, I just don't think it's an appropriate method of communication. Like we see each other every single day. We're always cooking in the same place at the same time because we all come back from work at the same time. We don't need to be rudely interacting with each other. Like it's just unnecessary. And it was like, and then there was this blowout fight because basically like I said this, and like the way I text is very like the way I text normally to anyone, it's very like kisses, hearts, like very sweet, like hi honey, da 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 da. Like I'm like very like that over text. And so I also appreciate that some people find that very performative and find that like a lot. And I know that sometimes that is a lot, but I also know when something is passive aggressive, and I know when something is just plainly fucking rude. And so then I always, when I always spoke to them in a group chat, I always did put a couple X's. I was always like very kind. I was like, oh, hi, like, no problem with this, no problem with that, like very sweet. And they were like, we find the way that you text passive aggressive. And they started then gaslighting me that the way that I was speaking to them was not from a place of being genuine. And that's when I was like, okay, like now you're just expecting the worst from me. And I was like, I just really don't appreciate this because like I've really shown you nothing but kindness. And like I'm probably gonna start shaking in a sec because I get so like upset and anxious about this whole house share thing, and especially this house. It was horrible. It kind of got from bad to worse because some people moved out and some new people moved in, and those new people that moved in, they were quite a rush job. Like we didn't properly have time to get to know them and to vet them um, because we just ran out of time and like the agents were being horrible, etc., etc. Anyway, this new guy moves in. His alias is Ludwig. Okay, he's Swedish, and at this point, we have two Swedish people living in the house, and yeah, he was. He came straight from like the army. He was like a Swedish army man who got a job in London. He was initially quite lovely. He was straight. I was quite apprehensive of living with a straight man. Like I have straight straight male friends in my life who I love very much. And yes, but they're not all created equal. I'm so sorry. Like you guys were also my bullies at school. So my apprehension, I think, is justified. And I was definitely a little bit like on my tippy toes, like, okay, hopefully this works out and hopefully he is not homophobic and hopefully he's not um yeah, any of those things. And luckily he wasn't. He was not, but he was definitely interesting. And we had to share a bathroom. We were the only people in the house had to share a bathroom. And one of the first things he says to me as I'm like showing him the bathroom, I'm like, yeah, this is the bathroom. He's like, okay, well, this is interesting, Max. I am from the army. I just came from the army, so we're gonna have to keep things really clean here, just to let you know. And I was immediately like, okay. I was like, whoa, like this is a lot. Like this man's from the army, like shit, like we're gonna have to keep this really clean. Like this is a bit intimidating. And I was like, okay. But anyway, with the bathroom thing, like that, it kind of was all okay. Like even throughout the whole time I lived there, we never really had any quarrels about the bathroom. I kept it clean, he kept it clean, it was fine. Anyway, but then I just wanted to preface the stuff I'm about to say next, just so you can fully understand the context of everything. And like, even though he wasn't homophobic, he was definitely quite misogynistic. Like I'd say he had a very inflated ego and like his self-awareness when it came to that ego was like zero to nothing. Like he was just like an arrogant straight man. And it was quite horrific at times and was really like caused me quite a lot of short circuits in my brain. Like I was like, how the fuck has this just left your mouth? Like one time, our other housemate was having a cigarette in the garden. She was just having a lovely cigarette, and he had invited these two Swedish men over to come over for lunch. And so basically, it was like the living room, and then there were these two like doors that would open out onto the garden. And she was having a cigarette, and he comes out to these doors and is like holding onto the handle, and he's like, yeah, sorry, but Swedish men don't really like it when girls smoke, so I'm just gonna close this door. Uh, first of all, let me tell you, women do not exist, Ludwig, okay, to appease you. And if you have a problem with a woman smoking in the garden that you share with other women, then you are a fucking misogynist. The words that just left your mouth are so misogynistic, you need to fucking check yourself. That is so vile. Like, since when do women exist to please you? Like, it was horrible. And like, luckily I was not there in the situation because I would have lost my shit. I heard this after and I was fucking gobsmacked. I was like, I live with someone that is upholding the patriarchy. Like, this is becoming vile. And like, as time went on, these behaviors became more and more apparent. It was so grim. He would like often go on dates and he would talk about like how he broke off relationships because he was like, she's falling in love with me. She's falling in love with me. She's in love with me. And like, I can't I don't feel the same way, but she's falling with me again, falling in love with me again. Well, you know, what can I do? Like, it was disgusting. Like you don't speak about people like that, and like it was like it was really like, okay, like we are really on different wavelengths and how we see life and how we see society and how we see people. Like, this is grim. And like, so I really started to take my distance after all of this behavior became apparent. Like, look at me, I'm shaking because I'm getting really upset. All of this behavior became apparent because I was like, this just does not align at all with my values, and like, it's just really fucking grim. He again would like have this like sense of ego when it came to like anything in his life. Like, he was part of this Swedish choir, and like I make music, and so he would sometimes try and start conversations with me in the kitchen. But like, as I said, at this point I pretty much wrote him off in my head, because I was like, if these words can leave your mouth, like, we don't see to eye, and like, you're quite disgusting. And he was like, he would often come into the kitchen and say to me, and he'd be like, one time he came in the kitchen, he said to me, yeah, so I had to leave my choir, my Swedish choir, because, like, I'm too good. Like, I had to move to a better one, because the one I was singing at, like, they took it more for fun, and like, I actually like, I'm really serious about being in the choir. And so I left, and I had to find a new choir, because I am a really good singer. And I was like, yeah, because 2 weeks ago, when I recorded a cover for you in my room with my mic, and for like a party invitation for one of your parties in Sweden, when I recorded that for you, yeah, you were a really good singer, and I was really gobsmacked by your vocal talent. Anyway, so I was like, okay, so we're dealing with, I think, a clinical narcissist here. And I was like, okay, so this is going to get really interesting. And then it started getting really interesting. He basically then invited his whole choir over for dinner, and my room was right above the living room and kitchen, so I could hear everything. I was in my bed just watching some TV after a long day at work, and all of a sudden I hear the full wrath of this Swedish choir unleashed in my house. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is crazy. It was like I walked into, it sounded very cult like. Like, they would sing for like 3 minutes, and then I would just hear like a bunch of chatter erupt, and I could hear they were eating, and they would eat for about 2 minutes, and then they would start singing again. And it was like very ritualistic, which was like interesting, very interesting. And I walked downstairs, and Ludwig was like, oh my God, Max, 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 you need to listen to this. And so I was standing there in my fur coat, about to go to get a drink at the pub to like escape the mayhem that was erupting beneath my feet. And I stood in my fur coat, and I was like, there was like 15 straight men in my living room singing Swedish choir songs with over a candlelit dinner. Like, it looked like a seance. Like, it was like, have you seen Midsummer? Yeah, it was giving that. And I was like, oh my God. And I was there, and I have a video of myself reacting to them singing. I might insert it, actually. I'm going to insert it. Fuck it, I'm going to insert it. It's coming. This is what it was like. And I was stood there with my face, like I just watch it. Pulsen brinner, hjärtat glöder, marschar mot det nu en gång. Sången är starkens så för hjärtats sång. Må vi då i vinens ära, tro i sidens hand i hand, liv och blod för Sverige. was fucking horrific. I was like, this is so crazy. I was like, now this like whole singing thing, like this was like started to become a bit of a pattern. And one time my cousin came to stay with me in London, and we were like chilling downstairs, like in the garden. I was telling her these stories that I just told you about him, and I was like, you kind of need to meet him because like you'll know exactly what I mean. Like you think I'm crazy telling you these stories. Like when you meet him, everything will click and it will make fucking sense that like I'm not going crazy. Like this man is nuts. And so and so I and so like he walks in after a date with a girl that has probably fallen head over heels for him, as he would so self-proclaim. And then I was like, oh my god, Ninka, like come in, Ninka, like meet Ludwig, like come meet Ludwig. And he was like, he was drunk, but she was so drunk. She was like holding onto the table, like she looked like a giraffe, like in the Sahara, drinking from a water well. Like she was literally there, like that, like holding on, like with her neck like bent over the table. It was crazy, like legs spread apart, like almost in the splits. And I could see she was so visibly drunk, and it made me a bit uncomfortable because I was like, he was nowhere near on her level, and like I knew they were here for a reason. Like they were in the house for reasons. I was a bit like, okay. Anyway, so I was like, hi, like Ludwig, meet Ninka, and then he was like, oh hi, and then he goes, oh, where are you from? Because Ninka obviously is not from London. Ninka goes, oh, I'm from Holland, and he goes, I love Sweden. He says, I love Sweden to someone telling him that they're from Amsterdam. I was like, okay. So I see the pattern is continuing. And so I said to the girl, I said to Ludwig, I was like, please get this girl some water. Like she needs to drink water. He was like, yeah. Goes to get her a glass of water. I say to the girl, I was like, listen, like please, like the fridge is yours. Take anything you want. Like if you want some food, like please take anything. Like you look like you're quite drunk. If you want to eat anything, like please just take anything you see. And she wasn't really responding to yeah. Like she was obviously really drunk. And they go upstairs and we go back into the garden, and Ninka and I were looking at each other like, shit, like should we interfere? Like should we do something? She's obviously so much more drunk than he is. Like it was becoming quite a moral dilemma. Like where I was like, oh my god, fuck. Like this is really fucking not okay. The window, he like lived on the kind of the top floor. So his window opens up. All of a sudden, I hear the keyboard go dun dun dun, and they are both stood by the window, screaming their lungs out, singing Swedish choir songs. I was like, oh my god, like give me a fucking break. I was like literally like, this is crazy. Like you are now like singing these Swedish songs like out the window, and I'm so like I really can't deal with it anymore. Like it's like I was like this is crazy. I was like, it's like this is so funny, but this is becoming like nuts. And I was like, okay, like this is just crazy. Like you have brought your date home to go and sing to her, like to like serenade her, you know, to like have this Romeo and Juliet moment because you're such an amazing singer. He was not. He was a very fucking average singer. And just like the ego and like the confidence to like bring this girl home and to serenade her to Swedish songs in your room, like with the window open, like the only reason and then she started joining in, and I was like, oh my god, like you cannot make this shit up. Like this is fucking ludicrous. Like this is crazy. Like what the fuck? Like get me out of here. I'm literally in a fucking mental, I'm going crazy. I'm going fucking crazy. And, you know, the plot starts to thicken as time goes on. Like, you know, it wasn't just him. We had some, like, the other housemates were, like losing their plot. I was like, it was going crazy. He then one time, I told him that I was leaving by the end of, when was it? Like, end of June. And he was like, insisting on having a house meeting where we can all come together and discuss my leaving and like the logistics of it and whatever, which was so unnecessary because I was like the third person that had left by this point. So like we all knew the drill, we all knew the drama, and this was also like 6 months before I was supposed to leave. So we had so much time to sort everything out. He goes though, he says, I will buy and make everyone lunch. Like I'll organize a lunch for you guys. Da, da, da. And I was like, okay, that's so sweet. Like, and it was summer, so we were like about to have lunch in the garden. He comes back from like a shop on the road, like somewhere. He comes back from like Tesco's, and I have never seen so much chicken. I didn't even know they did multi-packs of chicken. Like it was so much chicken. It was like 2 big like mega packs of chicken breast. I was like, shit, like girl. Like, are we all going to be eating this much chicken? Like, this is crazy. And he bought like a big watermelon. He was going to make a watermelon and chicken feta salad. I was like, okay, love that. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And, like he was there shirtless, like cooking this food, being the macho, man that he is. And it was like Hercules making a beautiful meal. It was just so amazing to watch that. He was just the epitome of a man. Like he was everything that I aspired to be, but it couldn't be because, he was, the poster man. Like he was that. He was the one. He was the one. He was really God's divine creation. And so when we then finally got served this fucking watermelon and chicken and feta salad, which was edible, he then, was talking about like me moving in and me moving out. And he was like, so yeah, if you can post on spare rooms and, just, let me know if you need a blurb, and I need a blurb from me. And yeah, if you just post on spare rooms, if you can set up the appointments and the meeting, that's perfect. And just let me know where you need me to allocate my resources. Yeah, just let me know where you need me to allocate my resources, and I can help and support where needed. And I was like, bitch, I fucking live with you. Like, this is not a business meeting, hun. Like, you can just speak to me normally. Like, drop the fucking act. Like, drop your macho man act. Like, how fucking small is your cock? Like, relax. Fucking relax. You've just stood here shirtless with like your 3 spouts of chest hair making a fucking watermelon and feta chicken salad that no one even asked for. I was very much happy to make my own salad, okay, sweetheart. And now you're going to tell me you're going to allocate your resources to help me moving out. Sweetheart, fuck off, okay? Come on a cone. So I was like, okay, this is becoming a bit crazy. And I was like, okay, this is becoming a bit crazy. Now, 2 weeks later, tell me why this motherfucker sends us an invoice for his fucking D-rated lunch, sent us an invoice to split the cost of his mega packs of chicken. Mind you, he only used 2 breasts. There was probably about 14 breasts in these 2 mega packs of chicken. So now I'm paying your weekly shopping as well. Motherfucker, shut up. Mind you also, I have made, at this point I'd made 3 or 4 big roasts. The whole chicken, everything I paid for, and my one other housemate paid for because we were cooking at the time together, which was, we had fun cooking together. And I was like, oh, Ludwig, do you want to join? And I never sent him an invoice for my fucking roast. But bitch, I should have. And this is when I started to realize, I've just been too nice. People think they can take advantage, and people think they can just push me in any which direction and I'll fucking take it. But I was like, oh, okay. Now you want the wrath of Max to unleash because, bitch, she's crawling out. She's patiently waiting in line to come out because it's not going to be cute. Don't fucking wind me up. I am not paying this. This is ludicrous. Do you, well fucking done for making a watermelon and feta salad. It's literally also one of the cheapest things you can make. Chicken breast, feta, from Iceland, feta ice, and fucking watermelon from one of the fruit vendors down the street. This probably cost you how much per head to make? £2 it cost you for you to make that lunch for me? But now I have to pay it. Plus I have to pay all your other chicken breasts. Girl, good night. This is bull fucking shit. And I was like, now, and then I really like, then the clock really, really like went bing, 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 because I was like, okay, I live with the crazies. I really live with the crazies. And so moving on now, this is kind of like that was like Ludwig. That was like the extent really of like how crazy he got. And now we're on to fucking Vera. It was a 5-bedroom house. So there was 2 other girls, and then one other was my friend. These 2 other girls were interesting. Okay. Vera, let's call her Vera and Sophie. Vera was another Swedish girl. Sophie was English. So, yeah. Now, Sophie one time went on a trip to Ibiza and brought back bed bugs. Okay, she brought back bed bugs. They were luckily not in my room. They were in Sophie's room, Ludwig's room, and Vera's room. Okay, so bed bugs, obviously, nobody wants bed bugs. No one signs up to have bed bugs. But bed bugs also just happen. It's not like she went to the pet shop and bought bed bugs and spawned them all over the house. Like, it was obviously an accident. Like, shit happens. She, like Sophie, I have to give her credit. She called the exterminators immediately. She got the pest control in. They took care of it. They exterminated the whole house. Like, she did what she had to do. But the drama that unfolded from Vera, I one time came down to the kitchen, and she was violently screaming at this girl, Sophie, like, I can't believe you brought bed bugs, you fucking brought bed bugs, like, we're all gonna fucking die, like, you brought bed bugs to scream, like, you did this, and she was, like, screaming at the top of her lungs. She left the house, stayed with her boyfriend for a fucking week because she was so upset about these bed bugs, and I understand everyone has, like, irrational fears about bugs and stuff, but, like, the way that she was speaking to this girl Sophie was horrible. Like, imagine how Sophie must have felt anyway, the fact that she brought bed bugs into the house. Like, I'm sure she felt like guilty and embarrassed. Like, I would feel embarrassed. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, this is so embarrassing. Like, this is so shit. And I'm really sorry that I've had to put you guys through this. But like, what can she fucking do? Like, she did not open the little door to the bed bugs. Like, come into the house, come into the house, come into the house. No, bitch. They just like crawled onto her pajamas and made the way to our house. Like, I understand it's not nice, but like, fucking calm down. And like, just like, I understand you can be upset, but don't speak to people like this. And then she started having a go at me. She was like, take all your shit out the fucking freezer. Like, take out of the freezer. Like, we need to freeze all our bed sheets and our clothes. And I was like, no, I've actually just spent 50 pounds of ice, and babes, like, I'm not throwing my food away. Like, if you want to do that, you can empty your shelf. I'm fine. I'll just wash my clothes and stuff on 90 degrees. We'll all be fine. First of all, like, I don't even have the bed bugs. And second of all, we've already exterminated the whole house. So, like, we will be okay. Oh, my God. Anyway, it was just like it was like slowly getting from bad to worse and bad to worse. And like, this girl, Vera, like, she was such a control freak. Like, it was horrible. And it became so apparent, like, when I was moving out, like, it was quite like an ordeal, because in this house we had to pay 6 months up front because we were all international people. Like, we didn't have, like, you know, we didn't have guarantors in the UK, so we had to pay 6 months up front, which was annoying, but like, it just meant that there's like quite a lot of logistics in like finding someone to replace me, which I understand. And so it was quite a chore finding someone. We ended up finding someone. Her name was Janie. And I ended up having this blowout fight with Vera because she was just interfering at every point she fucking could, and was so patronizing to me and made me feel so dumb and incapable when, like, I found the house, I did all the contracts, I dealt with all the agents, I collected all the 6 months payment every 6 months for the past 2 years. Like, I did everything. Like, I was so on it. Like, there was literally no reason for her to doubt me, for her to interfere, for her to belittle me, but she did. And like, it was horrible. Like, finding someone to replace me, you know, we had to put all this information through to the landlord. We had to go through the guarantor referencing. It got approved. And then, so this new girl who was moving in paid me the 6 months up front of like what was due, because I already paid my 6 months to the landlord. So she had to pay it to me, obviously, to like, yeah. Anyway, whatever, you get it. On the day of me moving out, the estate agent calls me and she's like, I'm so terribly sorry, but unfortunately, this new girl, Janie, has been rejected. And I'm literally stood there painting my walls. I've vacuum cleaned my room. Like I've done everything. Like I've like done everything. Like it's made the place look immaculate. And I was there like, oh my fucking God. Because now I have to pay double rent because like I'm legally tied, obviously bound to that contract, bound to my new contract, which I've already signed because in the previous week, the landlord told me that everything was approved and then he just rejected it. So you cannot imagine my stress of like having to pay double rent in London. Like that's it's unfathomable. Like I had to. My parents helped me very generously because I can't afford it. Like it's so much money. Like I was like fucking so upset. And like really shaken up. Like trying to clean up my room. I walk downstairs and this is like guys. Like this is months and months of like tormentation from this woman. Like this woman tormented me when it came to the house. Like she was the most passive aggressive. She was so horrible and awful. Like the way that she spoke on messages, she was so condescending, interfered with everything. Like guys, like I have like when I was the week before I was moving out, I was at my parents' house and she where is it? I printed the receipts and I have to fucking show you. I'm going to read it out for you. So she was like hounding me for an update from the agent. And obviously it's got really nothing to do with her, like the whole contracts and stuff, other than the fact that she has someone new living with her. Like it really doesn't matter. By the way, they all chose the person, obviously. They had the opportunity to choose the person they wanted. So, but right now it was in my hands. It was between me and the new girl, Janie, moving in to decide like the transfer of money, to decide the contracts, etc., etc. So they asked me for an update in the group chat. I sent them a very nice update and like, this is what's happening. This is what's up. Vera texts me in the group chat and she goes, I understand. I think if it doesn't go through, I will call Dexter's. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you know what, Vera, I think you know a lot more about the situation than I do. I also think that you're much more well equipped than I am to handle a contract dispute because you're a lawyer. Like you don't actually work in marketing. Like that was a lie. Like you work in law, and like you can do this better than I can because I'm incapable and I'm stupid. So yeah, you can call Dexter's because I also haven't been on the phone to them for the past 2 weeks trying to make sure that the guarantor goes through and that everything goes through because like I'm useless because I don't know what I'm fucking doing. This isn't my fourth house share in London that I've put together. No. So honestly, Vera, you take over and you fucking do it. So I reply, and I was like, I've gotten like really upset on the phone already to Chloe, who was working at Dexter as the agent. And I was like, it's completely ludicrous. And I was like, there's nothing we can do at this point. We just have to wait. To which she replies, I don't think it's a matter of getting angry, but to claim our rights and to talk it through with them. We need to know our arguments. Guys, can you hear that? I'm just applauding. It was just really moving. It was so moving. Like, oh, like, you know, the fact that she knows like how to communicate is so good because she's not belittling me at all. Because, you know, I have been super calm. All my emails to Chloe have been incredibly lovely, incredibly generous. Even the fact that like I'm now having to pay double rent, like I'm being fully screwed over by Dexter's and all the staff and everyone, and the fucking landlord has completely screwed me over. But like, no, like I have to know my arguments. Literally, what the actual fuck is wrong with you? Like, you are nuts. The fact that you think that you have any right, first of all, to interfere with something that doesn't concern you. The fact that you think you can sit here and question, like, to question how I've handled the situation when you don't even know how I've handled the situation, when you also have known me for the past 2 years and know me that, like, I'm not rude. I am capable of organizing these things. I have been very calm. You've listened to my phone conversations with Chloe. You've been present in the kitchen, in the room, making your dinner or whatever. When you've heard me speak to Chloe, you've seen that I've been very respectful and kind. So why the fuck are you gaslighting me and saying that I'm not? Why the fuck do you think you can handle it so much fucking better? Like, shut up. Like, don't you already know that I'm going through the stress of having to pay double fucking rent? And so, mind you, going back to the story previously when I told you that this new girl, Janie, had already transferred me the money for my room, I came down, after painting my walls, after vacuum cleaning everything, I came down and she stood in the hallway and she goes, I think it's really unfair that you're not going to transfer Janie her money back. I said, sorry, what? I said, what makes you think that I'm not going to transfer Janie her money back? Like, do you think I'm just going to keep her £6,000? Like, are you nuts? Like, if I would have kept it, I would have run away. I would have been in Barbados right now, babes. Like, obviously, I'm going to give her money back. And second of all, why are you getting involved yet again with a situation that does not concern you? It took everything in me to confront her and to stand up for myself, to be like, listen, like, please don't speak to me this way. Like, I said to her, I was like, Vera, like, don't stop, please, getting involved, because it actually has got nothing to do with you. Like, I'm trying my best. And I was getting emotional. I was getting so upset. And she was so rude to me. She was like, well, it does concern me. It does concern this house. Why are you not going to pay her money? But I was like, you have known me for 2 fucking years. I have collected everyone's money every 6 months and transferred it to the landlord. What makes you think that I would do this girl, Janie, so dirty that, like, I would steal her money? Like, are you fucking nuts? First of all, it's not even my money. First of all, like, it's not my money. Like, of course I'm going to transfer her money back. Are you fucking crazy? Like, are you crazy? It was so bad. She got so heated and she was so accusatory towards me of something that I'd never even done. And that it's so, like, out of character. It's also fucking illegal, you fucking idiot. To the point where my boyfriend came down and he was like, you need to stop, like, fucking bullying my, like, Max. Like, he has not done anything, fully kept you up to date with all the going ons. But it's got nothing to do with you. It's between me contractually and the new girl moving in. So can you back off? Back off. And then she apologized. She was like, I'm so sorry. I don't know. Like, I'm a control freak. I don't know what's gone over me. Like, I understand where you're coming from. I'm really sorry. And I was like, whoa. Like, it took you 2 years for you to apologize for being, like, a crazy control freak and like just being horrible. And, like, yeah, like, it was just horrible. Like, this whole experience was not fun. I never came for them. I never came for them personally, even though, like, their behavior was so atrocious and was so, like, unacceptable. And so I feel really good making this podcast and airing all the dirty laundry, because, like, they were horrible. And I want them to fucking know that that's just not how you treat people, and it's just not how you form lasting friendships, and it's not how you treat your housemates, babes. It's just not. You need to fucking do better. It's not okay. Anyway, so then I came back, obviously, because we had to find someone new. So at this point, I was paying double rent, remember? I was paying double rent. And I even said to them after this whole debacle, I was like, I even gave them the grace then to be like, listen, like, I understand this it's a super shitty situation for me. Like, I'm paying double rent, but I don't want to force you guys to live with someone you don't want to live with. So you have a couple days to find someone. Like, I'll help you guys post again, but we need to find someone, obviously, ASAP, because I can't afford this. And so we did. I had to come to every single interview, or I wanted to come to every single interview, like, because I had to obviously get my money back. So I was like, you needed to meet these people. I needed to relay the sense of urgency of, like, guys, like, can't be paying double rent in London. I came back, and the first thing she says to me, I walk in and she's like, this is like 24 hours after I left and moved into my new place. She goes, we've actually just introduced a no shoes on the carpet policy. Yeah. Sorry. And I was like, oh, okay. And also in this house show throughout the whole 2 years, they always try to, like, introduce a cleaning rota that obviously never fucking works in a 5-bedroom house. Everyone's too busy. Everyone's on completely different time schedules. So it just never works. And as we were interviewing people, she was like, yeah, so we actually now have a cleaning rota, looking at me. And I was like, okay. Right. So yeah, I'm surprised I stayed that long, to be honest. My room was really nice. That's why I stayed that long. Otherwise, I would have left a long fucking time ago. Oh my God, you guys, I need to tell you the fucking icing on the cake. Like, I have to tell you as well, like, guys, over these 2 years, like, the incessant nagging, like, as I spoke earlier about the cleanliness and like about, they were just like on the smallest things, they were like, oh my God, like sometimes Vera, guys, oh my God, sometimes Vera would be like on holiday, would not be in London, and would message in the group chat because she would check the weather app and she'd be like, guys, it's raining in London. Can we please make sure that the outdoor cushions are inside? Please, like, babes, like, fucking have day off, like, enjoy your holiday, like, leave everyone alone, like, leave us alone. This happened like 5 times. Like, you're not in the country. Why are you on the London weather app? Like, you are nuts. Like, messaging about the outdoor cushions, like, it was like about these smallest things. I can't even fully remember. It was like about like the kitchen chair, the kitchen knife, then it was about the cushions, then it was about the lamp, then it was about like the lights, then it was about deep cleaning the washing machine. What the fuck is that? It's a new washing machine. The thing is a year old. Deep cleaning the washing machine. Like, babes, if you care so much, fucking do it. Go deep clean the washing machine. Go and do it. Like, do it. Stop messaging about it. Stop, like, nagging everyone. Guys, there's crumbs at the end of the toaster, at the bottom of the toaster. Then fucking turn the toaster upside down in the sink and just do it. Like, stop making your, like, because, like, and that's okay. Like, if these things annoy you, then that's a you problem, babes. Like, go and sort it out then. Go and fucking sort it out. Because the icing on the fucking cake was when I left the house, I got a £46 bill. Like, I left the house. It was like a week after. £46 bill for the Christmas baubles from last year, and the IKEA candles that Ludwig bought 2 weeks before I left, and the new drinking glasses. Like, it literally left me fucking speechless. Like, I've left this house share, and you're going to bill me for the IKEA glasses you bought a week before I left? £46? And for the Christmas tree, by the way, guys, the Christmas tree that I was being billed for, I never even wanted. I wasn't even there for Christmas. Like, I wasn't even there for like most of December. So I didn't even like consent to them using my money to buy a Christmas tree. Mind you, it was like a real Christmas tree. So it was disposable. So the thing's already gone. You're billing me for glasses that you're about to use for the next however long this house share is, and you're probably going to take with you. You're billing me for the Christmas baubles that you're going to have forever. You're going to bill me for the candles that are on the table that I will never use because I've left the fucking house. Guys, I called my mom crying. I was so beside myself crying. And like my mom, I was always raised, like my mom was always like, if I came to my mom with a problem, she'd be like, but what did you do first? Like, that's how my mom raised me. And my mom had like unwithering support when it came to these people. Like, she was like, no, you're not going crazy. Because the amount of times I was like, am I going crazy? Am I doing something wrong? Am I going crazy? Am I doing something wrong? She's like, you are not crazy. These people are nuts. Like, they're nuts. Like, you're not crazy. Like, they're some of them are narcissists. They have issues, and it's not you. And so when I called her crying about this £46, I was like, I literally can't believe it. Like, I thought I escaped the mayhem. I thought I escaped the like horrible environment that I was living in my new house. I was loving it, and then I got a fucking £46 bill for candles, babes. I literally was like, I can't escape. I I literally can't. You just give me a fucking break. And my mom was like, just pay it and just never speak to them again. And I did. I paid it, and that was it. I was like, it was the most painful £46 that I've ever spent in my life. And I should have disputed it, especially because I left some of my decorations in the house. Like, I left like the ceiling lamp that I put up, like a really beautiful ceiling lamp above the dining table. I left that. I paid for the whole thing, paid for the installation, the cable, the lamp itself, and the light bulb. Left it because I even after all of this drama, I was like, oh, I'll be nice enough to leave it because like I just want to be on good terms and I want to leave it nice. And then I got hit by a bill of £46. So that just goes to show you the conflicting intentions that we had in this house share. Like, I tried to come from a place of kindness, and it was just always thrown back in my fucking face. So yeah. Anyway, I've now moved on to a lovely fucking house share with Quiva and Barbara. I've never fucking looked back. I feel like I felt in Shepherd's Bush, like I've got my home back. I feel like we're family. I feel like supported. I feel like we support each other. We love each other and we're there for each other. And it's beautiful and I'm obsessed and I'm really grateful. So yeah. So yeah. That is some of my housemate stories. I have a couple more, but I think I might sprinkle them in to some future podcasts because they're really funny. Yeah. So yeah. Favorite of the week, guys, because I realized also it's now over an hour and like I need to edit all of this and can't be bothered. And also, plus, bless you guys, you probably won't listen to this whole thing. But anyway, it's here documented. So anyway, hello. My favorite of the week, guys, I vowed I would never go back to an auction house, but I did. And I picked myself up a Fendi Peekaboo. And I'm really obsessed. I love her. My hair is really crazy. I'm so sorry. I love her. She's really cute. I name all my bags, and she's called Marcella. My previous one, my red one, was called Susan, but this is Marcella. Marcella. Because she's Fendi. She's Italian. So I thought that'd be really cute, but here she is. Isn't she cute? I love her. Yay! But yeah. Thank you so much for listening. See you next Tuesday. Bye.